Before the sun even rises, before the birds dare to sing, there is already a deep, familiar sound echoing across the fields, a sound that many believed would disappear forever. Stay with this video, because what you are about to see is not just machinery working, it is history still breathing. Old John Deere tractors big and small rest quietly near the barn, their green paint worn by decades of honest labor. And yet, when the key turns, they wake up like they always have. No screens, no complicated systems. Just steel, fuel, mechanicism and soul. Have you ever wondered why so many of these machines are still working after 40, 50, even 60 years? Why do farmers still trust them more than some modern tractors packed with electronics? And what makes a simple engine design outperform technology that costs 10 times more? As the first light touches the field, a small vintage John Deere slowly pulls a harrow across damp soil. The earth opens gently behind it, like it has done for generations. There is something deeply calming about watching a machine that knows its job, without needing sensors, computers, or updates. This is not nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia. This is respect for a philosophy of engineering that believed in durability over complexity, reliability over marketing, longevity over planned obsolescence. Throughout this story, you'll discover why these tractors were built differently, why fewer electronics often meant fewer failures, why simplicity became their greatest strength, and why many farmers quietly admit they don't make them like this anymore. Have you ever sat on one of these seats? Felt the vibration of pure mechanical life beneath you? If you have, you already understand. If you haven't, to stay, you're about to. And as this story unfolds, you'll hear questions answered, stories revealed, and maybe, just maybe, you'll start to see farming machinery through different eyes. By mid-morning, the larger John Deere joins the work. Its engine sound is deeper, slower, confident. It pulls heavy equipment with the patience that modern machines sometimes seem to have forgotten. There's no rush, no artificial efficiency metrics, just consistent power delivered exactly when it's needed. Why do these older tractors feel so trustworthy? Part of the answer lies in their design philosophy. Engineers once built machines assuming they would be repaired, maintained, and passed down. Frames were heavier, components were oversized, systems were mechanical, visible, understandable. A farmer didn't need a laptop to diagnose a problem. He needed experience, tools, and respect for the machine. The question often comes up, isn't modern technology better? Sometimes yes, but not always. Because with more electronics often comes more vulnerability. Sensors fail, control units malfunction, software locks out simple repairs. Meanwhile, these old John Deere machines keep going, season after season, storm after storm. Near the fence line, a smaller vintage tractor carries hay bales toward the barn. It's not fast, it doesn't pretend to be, but it does the job without complaint. That quiet reliability becomes addictive. And maybe you've seen this yourself. A modern tractor parked waiting for a technician, while the old John Deere keeps working. Why does that happen? We'll get to that soon. At noon, the farm slows down, shadows shrink, engines rest, metal clicks softly as it cools. Even in silence, these machines seem alive. The farmer walks around one of the older John Deere models, checking oil, touching hoses, listening. Maintenance here is not stressful, it's a conversation. The machine speaks through vibrations, smells, sounds, then the farmer understands. Could you do that with many modern tractors? This is one of the biggest differences. Older machines invite understanding. They teach you. They reward attention. When something begins to wear, you notice early. When something needs care, it tells you gently. This creates a connection between human and machine that many new designs simply don't allow. Some people say older equipment is outdated. But outdated for whom? For farmers who value independence, reliability, and control. These classic John Deere tractors represent freedom. No subscription services, no proprietary software barriers, no forced dealership dependency. Just work, honest, direct, mechanical work. And here's a question to hold on to. What is real progress? More technology or more trust? We'll answer that as the day continues. The afternoon brings heavier work. The field needs preparing before the weather changes. A large, old John Deere rolls forward with quiet authority, pulling deep through the soil. The dust rises slowly behind it, golden in the sunlight. This is where these machines truly shine. Torque, weight, stability, mechanical simplicity. These were not marketing features. They were necessities, and John Deere understood that better than most manufacturers of the time. While competitors experimented, rushed designs, or cut corners, John Deere invested in durability. That doesn't mean other brands were bad. Many were respectable, but time has revealed something clearly. Which machines are still here, still working, still trusted? Walk through rural areas today. Look behind barns, look in daily use, the pattern becomes obvious. And you might be asking, if they're so good, why did the industry move away from this design philosophy? That answer involves economics, regulations, consumer expectations, and we will explore that honestly. But for now, watch the soil turn. Watch the consistency. Watch the calm rhythm of a machine doing exactly what it was built to do decade after decade. As the sun begins to lower, light becomes softer. The tractors slow, not because they must but because the day is nearly complete. A small John Deere moves gently across the yard, finishing one last task. There is beauty in this simplicity. No flashing alerts, no digital dashboards demanding attention. Just a steady engine and a clear purpose. You might notice something else. These machines don't just perform tasks. They create atmosphere. They belong to the landscape. Modern tractors can feel like technology placed onto a farm. These older John Deere machines feel like they grew out of the farm itself. Why does that matter? Because tools shape behavior. When a machine is understandable, durable, and honest, it encourages care, patience, responsibility. It becomes part of a lifestyle, not just equipment. And maybe you felt this too. Maybe you've stood near one of these engines and thought, they built this to last. That thought is not accidental. It's the result of a different era of engineering. A different relationship between manufacturer and user, a different promise. And the most important question remains, are we losing something valuable by abandoning this philosophy? We're getting closer to the answer. Evening approaches, but the work doesn't stop. One of the larger John Deere tractors starts up again, this time to move heavy loads of hay before nightfall. There's a certain confidence in the way it moves. No hesitation, no warning lights, no electronic checks delaying the process. Have you ever noticed how modern machines often feel like they need permission to work? Permission from software, from sensors, from systems that sometimes fail for reasons the operator can't even understand. That's one of the quiet strengths of these older tractors. They trust the operator, and in return, the operator trusts them. This relationship wasn't accidental. John Deere engineers once assumed that farmers were intelligent, capable people who deserved machines that respected their knowledge. That's why systems were transparent, mechanical, logical. Isn't it interesting how progress sometimes removes control instead of empowering it? The camera lingers and worn details, the steering wheel polished by thousands of hours of hands. The faded decals, the metal steps smoothed by boots. These aren't signs of decay. They are signs of loyalty. Every mark tells a story, a harvest saved before the rain, a long day during drought, a winter morning when the engine's still starting. And here comes another question many people ask. Don't old machines require more maintenance? Yes, but it's a different kind of maintenance. With these John Deere tractors, maintenance is preventive, simple, affordable. Oil changes, filters, grease points, mechanical parts that can be repaired instead of replaced entirely. Problems that show themselves early instead of suddenly shutting everything down. Compare that to many modern systems, where a single sensor failure can immobilize an otherwise healthy machine. So which system is really more efficient over decades? Night begins to fall. The lights of the barn glow softly. One tractor remains outside, idling slowly, like it's reluctant to end the day. There is poetry in this moment, because these machines were never designed to impress with speed or screens. They were designed to serve quietly, reliably, for as long as possible. You start to understand why so many farmers keep them even when they can afford new equipment. Not because they're cheap, but because they're proven. And here's something rarely discussed: emotional trust. A farmer trusts an old John Deere because it has earned that trust through seasons of consistency, through years of reliability, through moments when everything depended on it and it delivered. Can a brand earn that level of trust with software updates and touchscreen menus? Some can try, but very few succeed. Dawn returns, a new day, and the same old engines come back to life without hesitation. This consistency across decades is not coincidence. It's engineering philosophy made real. John Deere once focused heavily on overbuilding rather than optimizing for minimum cost. Thicker castings, stronger drive retains, conservative horsepower ratings, mechanical fuel systems that could tolerate variation in fuel quality, designs that forgave mistakes. Other manufacturers tried different approaches. Some chased innovation faster. Some cut costs more aggressively. Many produced decent machines. But time has sorted the results. Today, which tractors are still working daily? Which ones are passed from grandfather to father to son? The answer doesn't come from marketing. It comes from observation. And now, before we go deeper, let me ask you something directly. As the first light of dawn stretches across the fields, the tractors begin to start, engines hum softly, almost like they are awakening rather than starting. There is a rhythm here, one that has been repeated across decades. And in that rhythm lies a story of craftsmanship, purpose, and trust. A John Deere tractor, decades old, rolls across the yard. Its paint is dulled, edges softened by years of exposure to sun and wind. But its movements remain deliberate, precise, unhurried. Every hydraulic line, every gear, every piston has a function, and it performs with quiet competence. It is tempting to think of machinery purely in terms of output horsepower, torque, capacity, but those numbers alone fail to capture what makes a machine indispensable. Reliability, predictability, and understanding between operator and tool that cannot be programmed or quantified. Modern tractors arrive with dashboards glowing, sensors scanning, software demanding attention. Alerts ping, screens light up with information. Some essential, some trivial. The operator becomes a manager of a system, responding to notifications, interpreting codes, troubleshooting processes that sometimes fail for reasons beyond direct control. Older John Deere tractors operate differently. They trust the operator. They respond to intention rather than ADA streams. You do not command them with menus and touchscreen gestures. You guide them with levers, pedals, and experience. This is a partnership born of simplicity and understanding. Look closely at the construction. Castings thicker than strictly necessary by today's standards. Hydraulic lines rooted with clarity. Drive retains overbuilt, conservative in power yet exceptional in endurance. Mechanical fuel systems tolerant to variations, forgiving mistakes, and resilient across decades of continuous use. The lessons embedded in these machines are not merely about endurance. They are about philosophy, a philosophy that respects the skill of the farmer, the philosophy that assumes intelligence, capability, and care. By treating the operator as a partner rather than a data input, these tractors encourage stewardship, patience, and respect for both machine and land. Even small actions echo this philosophy. Starting the engine in cold morning air, maneuvering a load of hay into the barn, adjusting the depth of a plow without hesitation. These gestures carry weight because the machine responds predictably, rewarding knowledge and penalizing neglect only as naturally intended. And yet, there is more than utility here. There is beauty in the arc of a plow furrow across the soil, in the mechanical precision of a planter setting seeds with consistent depth and spacing, in the quiet confidence of a machine that has earned its place in the rhythm of the farm. Observe the contrast. The modern tractor may boast advanced hydraulics, GPS-guided precision, and AI-assisted steering. But when a sensor malfunctions, when software miscalculates, the operator becomes subordinate to the system. In older machines, the system is subordinate to the operator. It obeys physics, not algorithms. As the first light of dawn stretches across the sprawling fields, a gentle hum begins to emerge. It is not the blaring noise of modern machinery, but the steady, deliberate vibration of engines that have been tested by decades of seasons. A John Deere tractor rolls slowly across the yard, its faded green paint softened by time and sun. Yet every movement is precise, confident, purposeful. This is a machine that has been built to endure, not to impress. It is a testament to an engineering philosophy that valued reliability over spectacle, function over flash. Watching it move, one realizes that tractors are more than just tools. They are instruments of connection between human intention and the land itself. The operator does not simply command the machine. He engages in a partnership where skill, understanding, and patience are rewarded by responsiveness, durability, and trust. Every lever, pedal, and linkage speaks a language that can only be understood through experience. Unlike modern equipment that often demands attention through blinking alerts, digital screens, and software-driven protocols, this machine obeys physics and logic, not codes and algorithms. Every part has been designed with longevity in mind. Castings are thicker than necessary by modern standards. Hydraulic lines are routed with clarity. Drive retains are overbuilt, and mechanical fuel systems tolerate a range of qualities without hesitation. Every detail reflects the assumption that the operator is intelligent and capable, and that machines must earn trust through consistency, not marketing promises. These tractors do not demand admiration, they earn it quietly, day after day, season after season. There is an elegance in this simplicity. As the tractor maneuvers through the furrows, a rhythm emerges that is both practical and poetic.
Cool
Each
looking.
pass shapes the land with precision. Each load carried is a testament to endurance, and each action performed without delay or hesitation reinforces the unspoken bond between man and machine. Observing these older John Deere tractors is to witness a philosophy in motion, a belief that when machinery respects the operator, efficiency, care, and responsibility naturally follow. Contrast this with modern machines. Advanced sensors, GPS guidance, AI-assisted steering, and electronic dashboards promise precision and productivity. Yet, when a sensor fails or software malfunctions, the operator becomes subordinate to the system. The machine can no longer respond to intuition or skill alone. It requires compliance. In older John Deere tractors, the situation is reversed. The machine serves the operator, obeys human intent, and amplifies experience rather than replacing it. There is more than functionality here, there is history. Each scratch, dent, and worn pedal tells a story of seasons survived, tasks completed, mistakes corrected, and lessons learned. Every imperfection is a marker of resilience, a record of reliability, and a reminder that true engineering is measured not in temporary performance gains but in decades of sustained service. These tractors are mentors in steel and hydraulics, teaching patience, precision, and respect for both machine and land. And yet, as agriculture moves toward automation and increasingly complex machinery, one must ask, what is being lost? Are we sacrificing understanding, intuition, and trust for convenience, speed, or novelty? Can software updates, touchscreen interfaces, and automated controls replicate the intimate relationship between operator and machine that these older tractors embody? Observing a John Deere in motion, it becomes clear that there is wisdom embedded in the engineering choices of the past, a philosophy where simplicity meets resilience, where trust is earned, and where machinery teaches as much as it performs. The morning sun casts long shadows across the fields, illuminating tractors that have been in service for decades. John Deere machines, still painted in their signature green and yellow, move steadily across the soil, plowing, hauling, and performing with a consistency that many modern tractors struggle to match. One might ask, why do these older machines, with little to no electronics, remain in daily use when today's tractors boast GPS guidance, automated steering, and telematics? The answer lies in simplicity and reliability. Unlike some modern brands, which rely heavily on sensors and software to perform basic functions, these vintage John Deere tractors operate almost entirely on mechanical systems. Few electronics mean fewer points of failure. If a component wears, it can often be repaired or replaced without specialized diagnostic tools. An operator who understands mechanics can keep these tractors running for decades, which is why many family farms still pass these machines from generation to generation. Consider the competition at the time: Fendt, Claas, and Massey Fergus opponent machines. Yet many were not designed with the same holistic approach that John Deere employed. Some focused on higher initial performance metrics, others on flashy innovations that were less tested under real-world conditions. John Deere instead emphasized durable engines, straightforward hydraulics, and transmissions that could handle long, uninterrupted workdays. The result was machines that were intuitive, reliable, and resilient, qualities that continue to outshine some of today's electronically sophisticated models. At this point, you might wonder, are modern tractors really less reliable? The truth is nuanced. Modern machines can achieve incredible efficiency and precision, but they introduce complexity and dependence on software updates, sensors, and sometimes proprietary components. A tractor that won't start because of a minor sensor error can cost a farmer valuable time. In contrast, these older John Deere tractors rely on predictable mechanics, fuel, hydraulics, gears, and human judgment. Problems are visible, solvable, and rarely catastrophic. And yet, we must ask another question: and do these machines limit productivity compared to modern technology? At first glance, yes, they lack automated guidance systems, and their hydraulic responses may not match the speed of modern servo controls. But consider this in the hands of a skilled operator. These machines teach discipline, timing, and a deeper understanding of the land. Productivity is not only about speed, it is about consistent performance, minimal downtime, and machines that inspire trust rather than frustration. Another question emerges naturally: why do I personally prefer these vintage John Deere lines? The answer is rooted in experience. When you operate a tractor that responds predictably to every command, that communicates its condition without electronic warnings, you build a relationship. You learn to anticipate behavior. You gain control in a way that modern tractors sometimes obscure behind screens and alerts. For many farmers, that trust is priceless. And here's a thought-provoking point: if these tractors were engineered decades ago and remain effective today, what does that say about the long-term vision of their design? Modern machinery often prioritizes temporary advantages, higher speeds, advanced monitoring, or software-driven automation, but longevity, ease of repair, and operator confidence are less visible in marketing materials. John Deere's philosophy ensured that these tractors were not only powerful but enduring. That is why, even today, watching them work is like witnessing history in motion, a history that remains relevant and practical for modern farming. As the day progresses, the fields become a stage where tractors tell a story, not visible in spec sheets or advertisements. The older John Deere machines move steadily, pulling plows, wagons, and cultivators with a quiet authority that modern tractors rarely emulate. One might pause and ask, why do these tractors, built decades ago, outperform some of the latest electronic models in reliability? The answer lies in engineering philosophy. John Deere prioritized mechanical clarity and operator trust over flashy features. Competitors at the time, Fendt, Claas, Massey Ferguson, certainly produced capable machines, but many relied on early hydraulic innovations that were prone to leaks or required constant calibration. John Deere, in contrast, refined every lever, pump, and linkage to create systems that were robust, intuitive, and forgiving of operator errors. This is why, even today, these tractors endure, while some early competitor models have long disappeared from daily use. Ask yourself another question: are electronics in modern tractors always a benefit? Certainly, GPS guidance and automated steering can enhance precision, especially in large-scale operations. Yet every added sensor, control module, or screen creates a potential point of failure. A minor software glitch can halt productivity for hours. Meanwhile, a classic John Deere with no electronic dependency continues to operate with minimal intervention. Operators learn to read the machine temperature, sound, vibration, resistance, skills that deepen the connection between human and tractor. And yet, some might argue, do older tractors limit technological advancement? Not necessarily. The principles embedded in these vintage machines, efficient hydraulic layouts, reliable transmissions, and balanced power-to-weight ratios, form the foundation of today's tractors. Modern John Deere machines build upon the same philosophy: durability, predictability, and operator-centric design. Innovations like improved fuel efficiency, PPS, and automated implements are layered on top of a framework conceived decades ago. The essence of reliability remains unchanged. Consider another comparison. While Claas excels and combines in Fendt and precision features, few brands match the longevity of these older John Deere tractors. Their engines were overbuilt, their gearboxes conservative but robust, and their hydraulics simple yet highly effective. A mechanic familiar with these tractors can diagnose and repair nearly any problem in the field without specialized tools. Contrast this with modern machines, where some issues require dealer-level diagnostics or proprietary software. The simplicity of older John Deere tractors translates to less downtime and more control qualities that modern marketing cannot always quantify. Here's a question to ponder: if you had to choose a tractor for decades of consistent service, would you select a modern machine full of electronics, or a vintage John Deere engineered to endure? Later in the video, we'll explore specific examples in the field showing how these older machines outperform newer models in real-world conditions, not just theory. For now, take a moment to appreciate the subtle elegance of their design. Every pedal, lever, and gear communicates intent. Every mechanical function is logical and predictable. This is a machine that respects the operator, assuming skill, intelligence, and attention. Modern tractors often demand compliance with software. Older John Deere tractors demand engagement with craftsmanship. The afternoon sun glints off the steel of the John Deere 4020, a tractor that has worked more seasons than many operators have been alive. Watching it move, you notice how it carries itself differently than modern machines. There are no blinking lights, no software prompts, no electronic diagnostics dictating its actions. Every movement is mechanical, direct and responsive, and yet, the machine performs tasks that many modern tractors, laden with technology, still struggle to replicate without intervention. Some observers ask, isn't technology supposed to make farming easier? Certainly, electronics can add convenience and precision, but they also introduce dependence. A sensor fails, a control module glitches, and productivity halts. In contrast, this vintage John Deere responds to intention, not error codes. Operators know its behavior intimately. When the hydraulics engage, when the engine hums under load, the operator reads these signals instinctively. This is trust built into steel and hydraulics. The competition at the time, Massey Ferguson, Fendt, Claas produced tractors that were capable in certain conditions, yet many lacked the holistic durability and intuitive design that John Deere achieved. Some machines were lighter and faster. Others had more complex hydraulic or transmission systems that demanded constant attention. John Deere focused on reliability first and productivity second. Today, decades later, the results are clear. Their tractors continue to work, while others have long been retired. And here's a question to ponder while watching: would you prefer a tractor that occasionally surprises you with technology, or one that you can rely on without hesitation every single day? Later in this video, we'll show side-by-side examples of fieldwork demonstrating how a vintage John Deere 4020 can outperform newer models under real-world conditions. Consider the engine design. These older tractors often used mechanically fuel-injected diesel engines, designed to tolerate variable fuel quality and rough handling. Modern tractors use electronic fuel injection systems that are more precise but less forgiving. A clogged sensor or a minor software miscommunication can prevent operation, whereas the mechanical John Deere will continue running, forgiving the small errors that are inevitable in the field. There is also a lesson in operator engagement. Modern tractors can sometimes make the farmer a passive observer, monitoring systems rather than interacting directly with the land. Older John Deere tractors demand involvement. Steering, adjusting implements, monitoring engine response all require attention and skill. The reward is a deeper understanding of the land, the machine, and the seasonal rhythms. This is not nostalgia, it's practical, operational knowledge. Another question arises: do these tractors limit production because they lack modern conveniences? The answer is nuanced. While GPS and auto steering can increase efficiency on large-scale farms, these older machines teach precision through skill rather than automation. An operator who understands the tractor and the soil can achieve highly efficient results without dependency on electronics. In some cases, reliability and reduced downtime more than compensate for the absence of technology. And so, as the sun begins to dip toward the horizon, consider this: the same engineering choices that made John Deere tractors exceptional decades ago continue to influence modern models. Thicker castings, robust transmissions, intuitive hydraulics, all are principles that endure. Modern tractors integrate electronics on top of this framework, but the foundation is still John Deere philosophy. As the afternoon turns toward evening, the fields remain alive with motion. A John Deere 3020 moves steadily, hauling a load of hay, its engine humming a familiar rhythm that echoes decades of farm work. One cannot help but ask, why do operators continue to prefer these older machines when modern tractors offer advanced electronics, automated guidance, and telematics? The answer lies in durability and simplicity. Modern tractors may promise precise steering, auto leveling, and sensor-based adjustments, but with every electronic feature comes an additional point of failure. A single faulty sensor can halt operations entirely. Older John Deere tractors, by contrast, are almost entirely mechanical. They respond predictably to operator input, and when a problem arises, it is visible, diagnosable, and fixable in the field with basic tools. This creates confidence, consistency, and freedom that modern electronics sometimes fail to provide. Competitors like Fendt, Claas, and Massey Ferguson certainly offered capable tractors. Some were innovative in hydraulics or introduced early automated systems, but few achieved the balance of robust mechanical engineering and operator-centered design that John Deere perfected. While competitors focused on short-term features or higher speeds, John Deere prioritized longevity, repairability, and an intuitive interface. The result is evident decades later. These tractors are still in daily use, reliably performing the tasks modern machines are designed for but often struggle with under certain conditions. Here's a question to consider while watching: would you rather operate a tractor that occasionally stops due to a software error, or one that may require a bit of human skill but will always respond predictably? Later in the video, we'll illustrate this with field comparisons showing older John Deere models outperforming newer machines in practical, real-world work. Take the engine as an example. Classic John Deere diesel engines were designed to tolerate fuel variation, handle extended work hours, and operate under tough conditions. Modern electronic fuel systems are more precise, but they are also more sensitive to minor issues. A simple fuel impurity or sensor misalignment can immobilize a tractor. Meanwhile, the vintage John Deere will keep running, forgiving minor operator or environmental errors, making it not only durable but also resilient under real-world conditions. Hydraulic systems tell a similar story, where some brands introduced complicated, sensitive designs that required constant adjustment. John Deere engineered clarity and reliability. Hydraulic flow is intuitive, levers respond predictably, and implements behave as expected. This predictability reduces stress, increases productivity, and allows operators to focus on their work rather than troubleshooting electronics or proprietary systems. Another question arises: do older tractors limit productivity? At first glance, one might think yes, they lack GPS guidance, auto steering, and telemetry. But efficiency is not only measured in speed or technology. Consistency, reliability, and operator familiarity often yield higher productivity over time. Fewer breakdowns, fewer unexpected stops, and simpler repairs ensure that work progresses steadily day after day. This is why many farmers choose to operate both old and new John Deere tractors. The modern machines bring efficiency and technology where it is needed, but the older tractors provide trust, predictability, and independence from electronics that might fail. This dual approach balances cutting-edge technology with proven, resilient engineering. If you're enjoying this in-depth look at vintage John Deere machinery and want to see more side-by-side comparisons, practical demonstrations, and field tests, subscribe to Agro Powerful Zero and give this video a like. The late afternoon sun casts long shadows over the fields, highlighting tractors that have seen generations of work. A John Deere 4020 trundles steadily across the soil, filling harvested crops with a rhythm that is almost meditative. One might pause and ask, why do these machines, built decades ago, remain so relevant? While some modern tractors struggle under the weight of their own technology, the answer lies in engineering philosophy and operator trust. These older John Deere models were designed with mechanical clarity at their core. They do not depend on software, sensors, or telematics to function. Every gear, lever, and hydraulic line is logical, intuitive, and built to last. In contrast, modern tractors often require constant calibration and software updates, which can halt operations at critical moments. Fendt, Claas, and Massey Ferguson built capable machines, but many of their early models lacked the combination of durability, simplicity, and operator-focused design that John Deere perfected. Here's a question to reflect on: would you prefer a tractor that occasionally surprises you with electronic errors, or one that responds predictably to every command? Later in this video, we'll show practical examples where vintage John Deere tractors outperform newer, more technologically advanced machines under real-world conditions. Consider the hydraulic system. Modern tractors often rely on complex electronic controls to manage implement movements. While precise, these systems introduce points of failure that can stop work immediately. Older John Deere hydraulics, by contrast, were mechanical yet highly effective. Operators could adjust flow manually, respond instantly, and maintain productivity even when conditions were challenging. The design rewarded knowledge and skill, creating a machine that truly became an extension of the operator. Another point to consider is the transmission. Many modern tractors are designed for automated shifting, controlled by computers. While convenient, a malfunctioning sensor or software glitch can immobilize the machine. Classic John Deere transmissions are fully mechanical, robust, and forgiving. A skilled operator can work around minor issues without needing dealer intervention. It's reliability that has been proven in fields across decades and continents. And let's not forget engines. John Deere diesel engines from the 1960s through the 1980s were engineered to tolerate variation in fuel quality, work extended hours, and endure harsh environments. Modern electronically controlled engines offer efficiency and emissions advantages, but they come at the cost of complexity. A minor software issue can prevent operation entirely, while a mechanical John Deere engine keeps moving, forgiving small errors that are inevitable on a busy farm. This raises another question: do older tractors limit productivity? On paper, they may appear slower, less efficient, or lacking GPS guidance. But efficiency is more than raw speed. Reliability, minimal downtime, and intuitive control often result in better performance over an entire season. Fewer breakdowns, fewer interruptions, and predictable behavior allow operators to plan and execute work with confidence, a productivity advantage that technology alone cannot replace. For those following this journey, it is important to remember that these tractors do not reject technology outright. Modern John Deere models build upon the same foundational philosophy: durability, predictability, and operator-focused design. Electronics are layered on top of proven mechanical principles, not as a replacement. This continuity of engineering excellence is why the brand remains a benchmark in farming machinery today. As the day edges toward evening, a John Deere 3010 pulls a fully loaded trailer across the farm. Its engine hums steadily, a sound that has become synonymous with reliability. Watching it work, one begins to understand why so many operators continue to favor these classic machines. Even when modern tractors boast advanced electronics, GPS systems, and automated steering, it raises a crucial question: what is more valuable, cutting-edge technology or mechanical trust that lasts decades? The answer lies in the philosophy behind the engineering. John Deere did not design tractors solely for peak horsepower. The focus was on endurance, simplicity, and operator-centered performance. While competitors like Massey Ferguson, Claus, and Fendt introduced complex hydraulics, electronic systems, and early automation, they often lacked the balance of reliability, longevity, and mechanical intuitiveness that John Deere perfected. These older tractors can be maintained, repaired, and understood without the need for expensive diagnostic equipment or proprietary software, an advantage that remains relevant for operators today. Here's another question for consideration: how often do modern tractors sit idle due to software updates, sensor malfunctions, or electronic failures? Compared to that, the older John Deere operates with remarkable consistency. Its systems are simple, predictable, and forgiving. Hydraulic controls respond as expected. Transmission shift mechanically. Engines tolerate variation in fuel quality. Every component is designed to work in real-world conditions, not just in lab tests or controlled environments. And yet, some might argue, do these older tractors limit productivity? On paper, perhaps. They lack GPS-guided precision, automated implement control, and telemetry. But true productivity isn't measured solely in features. It's measured in consistent results over time, minimal downtime, and the ability to respond to challenges in the field. Older John Deere tractors excel in these areas. They allow skilled operators to achieve remarkable results through understanding, timing, and engagement, rather than relying on software to make decisions for them. Consider the engine design as a concrete example. Diesel engines from the 1960s to the 1980s were built to tolerate irregular fuel, heavy loads, and long hours. Modern engines, while more efficient and compliant with emission standards, can be immobilized by electronic faults or minor sensor issues. The mechanical John Deere continues running, forgiving human and environmental error alike, demonstrating the enduring value of robust engineering. Another point of comparison is operator engagement. Modern tractors sometimes remove the human from the equation, replacing skill and judgment with automation. Older John Deere machines require the operator's attention, coordination, and understanding. This interaction fosters skill development, deeper connection with the land, and intuitive operation. The machine teaches the operator as much as it performs tasks. Here's a provocative question to reflect on: would you rather depend on a tractor that may fail silently due to an unseen software glitch, or one that communicates directly through mechanics, sound, and resistance? Later in the video, we'll illustrate specific field examples that answer this question decisively, showing why so many operators continue to trust these older machines over newer, more electronically dependent models. As the golden light of late afternoon stretches across the fields, the John Deere 4020 continues its work, plowing, hauling, and maneuvering with effortless precision. One might wonder, why do these older machines, decades in service, still command respect while some modern tractors sit idle waiting for software updates? The key is mechanical reliability and design philosophy. John Deere engineers of the past understood the realities of farming: cold mornings, and even a rain, heavy loads, and long working hours. They designed tractors that could endure these conditions without interruption. Competitors like Fendt, Claas, and Massey Ferguson certainly produced capable machines, but many were either overcomplicated, overly reliant on emerging technologies, or lacked the robust simplicity that allowed John Deere to dominate the market. Even today, these older John Deere tractors remain operational on farms across the world, a testament to foresight and engineering discipline. Consider the question: are modern tractors more efficient? On paper, yes. GPS guidance, automatic steering, and electronic implement control can increase precision. Yet, in practice, these same technologies can become points of failure. A single sensor malfunction or software error can halt operations entirely. By contrast, these older John Deere tractors, with their mechanical fuel systems, overbuilt transmissions, and simple hydraulics, operate with predictable consistency, allowing the operator to maintain workflow regardless of minor environmental or mechanical challenges. Another reflection arises: do electronics always improve productivity? Not necessarily. While automation can reduce operator fatigue, it also reduces engagement and the intuitive understanding of the land. Older John Deere machines require the operator's full attention, fostering skill development, situational awareness, and mechanical intuition. The tractor becomes more than equipment; it becomes a teaching tool, a partner, and a reliable extension of the operator. We can also examine the engine design. Diesel engines from this era were built to tolerate fluctuations in fuel quality and variable work conditions. Modern electronically controlled engines offer efficiency and emissions advantages, but at the cost of sensitivity. A software or sensor failure can immobilize the tractor. Meanwhile, a vintage John Deere diesel engine continues running, forgiving human or environmental errors and delivering steady, dependable power season after season. Here's a provocative question for you: would you rather depend on a high-tech machine that can be immobilized by a software glitch, or a mechanical workhorse that you can trust for decades? Later in the video, we'll show field examples where older John Deere tractors outperform newer, more technologically advanced machines in terms of reliability, uptime, and practical productivity. The competition is worth revisiting. While Fendt offers precision engineering and Claas excels with certain implements, very few brands have matched the long-term durability and operator-centered design of John Deere. Their tractors were designed to communicate with the operator through mechanical feedback, predictable hydraulics, and robust transmissions, creating a sense of trust and control that modern machines sometimes obscure behind digital screens. If you're enjoying this exploration into the philosophy, durability, and practical advantages of vintage John Deere tractors, remember to subscribe to Agro Power 4.0 and give this video a like. Our channel highlights the field-tested knowledge, comparisons, and insights that demonstrate why these machines continue to set the benchmark for reliability in agriculture. Finally, think about this for reflection: how does mechanical simplicity and operator trust influence your day-to-day farming operations? These tractors are more than machinery.
That's a Honeycrisp apple tree, which is, well, we got a lot of nice second cutting out here, dry, ready to roll. So neighbor Dave's gonna get raking, and I'm gonna start right behind him baling, hopefully. It's going really good. Another nice beautiful day. So I'm going to take this disc spine off and put the 570 square baler on there and get at her. Alrighty, got the 4430 hooked up to the 570. Stuff's ready to start baling, so I'm going to get at her. Let's go.